Hey, how's it going? My opposition to Mitt Romney has everything to do with his statements, with his policies, with what I believe he would do if he ever had the power of the presidency. My opposition to him does not come from the fact that he's a Mormon. It does not come from what Mormons believe or anything of that nature. And let me state up front that I do have Mormon relatives. While most of my family is either Catholic or evangelical Protestant, my uncle converted to Mormonism many years ago, and he and his wife raised their children in the Mormon church. And to this day, they are all Mormons. And they have gone off and done missionary work in, I don't know what country, but they did. So I grew up being somewhat familiar with the Mormon Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And Mormonism, some of the belief system, didn't really examine it in detail. I never had any interest in becoming a Mormon myself. I do have copies of the Book of Mormon and the Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price. I bought them out of simple curiosity, and having read through them a little bit, it didn't convince me to join the religion. Now, that being said, I have strong objections to people who oppose Mitt Romney, it seems more so for the fact that he is a Mormon than for any other religion. And they cite some of the beliefs of the Mormon Church as their reasons, that Jesus and Lucifer, the devil, were brothers, and polygamy and other issues like that. Those are not mentioned nearly as much as the Mormon temple garments, or the so-called magic underwear. Now, these undergarments are given to Mormons once they pass a certain ceremony, and these undergarments are required to be worn by all Mormons from that point on for the rest of their lives. And the symbols are etched or are stitched into the garments themselves over various locations. Now, you can think that these undergarments are strange, and you can believe that it's rather weird. That's fine. But what someone wears under their clothing as part of a religious observance should not disqualify that person from being elected to public office. Now, we have people serving in government positions all across the country who are Jews. And when these people go to synagogue, often they will wear the yarmulke, or the skull cap. Orthodox Jews wear the yarmulke all the time. Conservatives also wear it. Reformed Jews, not so much, but they'll wear them when they go to synagogue. There's also the prayer shawl, also it's called the tallis, and this is worn by Orthodox Jewish men all the time, and by Jews, many Jews, married men especially, when they're praying, either in synagogue or at home. And this is also a religiously mandated garment. But I don't see people like Bill Maher and Jon Stewart, who are both Jews, making fun of the tallis or the yarmulke. They will talk, especially Bill Maher, derisively about the Mormon undergarments. And so did Keith Olbermann. He talked about that, I think, once briefly on one of his casts on MSNBC. And the Mormons and the Jews are not the only religion that have religiously mandated clothing, which to be worn either all the time or during worship. The Sikhs have an undergarment that they're, the men I believe, that they're required to wear all the time. They also have the turban. Zoroastrians wear a hat or some sort of head covering at all times. Many Muslims also have the cap, the kufi, as known, that they wear either all the time or when they're praying. These are religiously mandated pieces of clothing. And it's not something, I think, that in modern day America in the year 2012 is something that should be brought up as something to be made fun of. Back in 2003, there was a large anti-Mormon demonstration where people were stomping on and spitting on the Mormon temple garments, and one person blew his nose into the temple garments as a sign, I guess, to provoke the Mormons into some kind of reaction, which they did get. And the state of Utah expanded their fighting words and hate speech laws in response to this. So you don't have to like what a religion teaches. I mean, I will probably never join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But as someone who is progressive, someone who applies, or at least tries very hard to apply the same standard to everyone, if I'm not going to make fun of tallis, the yarmulke, or undergarments worn by Sikhs, or clothing worn by people of various religious groups, I'm not going to make a special exception to the Mormons and make fun of their, temple garments, or it's the magic underwear, as people often call it. I think that this is inflammatory, it is discriminatory, and I believe it is a kind of hate speech. Who cares what they wear under their clothing? So if you're any kind of progressive, then if you want to oppose a political candidate, be it Mitt Romney or anyone else, take issue with their political stances and not what they might be wearing under their street clothes, or what they might wear when they go to church or temple or synagogue. These things are irrelevant in modern day America. All right, thank you very much.